Hello people, it's me, Libluini. Welcome back to our adventures in Dominion 6. This is another attempt of me of recording a multiplayer game, like my wonderful series of Gem and Holograms Season 1 and Season 2, which should be starting to upload about now. Of course, you will never get to hear this if I fail abysmally in less than 10 or 20 turns. So let's see. This time we are playing Xibalba, a nation of real bad people with blood magic. They are a bit more exotic than normal. Our pretender is Fountain, Minnesota. And if you're getting the reference, 10 points for you. Then we get, of course, the beginning messages. In the beginning there was chaos. Out of chaos rose worlds populated with multitudes of beings. Wars were fought. Kings and emperors rose and fell, and civilizations were built and crumbled as millennia passed. Gods, dark and strange, were worshipped in pagan temples. Still there was chaos. Gods fought amongst themselves, bringing even greater ruin to those who would have served them. Ah, shit, I guess I messed this up a bit. At last there was one, a being of great power and enlightenment, who rose above his immortal peers and cast them out of the heavens into oblivion. From chaos came order, and with order came peace, and the creatures of the worlds flourished. The age of chaos had ended. And now the wheels have turned once again. The supreme god has suddenly disappeared. Prayers are left unanswered, and the smoke of offerings rises in vain to the heavens. No one knows why he disappeared, but it is certain that the people of the worlds are once again left without direction, without guiding principle, without order. Now is the time for the beings of great power and ambition to try their strength. The throne of the heavens stands empty, and only the strongest can rise to supremacy over all. Only the most powerful can ascend to take the place of he who came before. This is a time of grave strife and suffering. This is a time of magic unequaled. This is the Ascension Wars. And we'll get these messages with each game which we start again. And this time, Found Minnesota, god of Xibalba, is entering the Great War this time. This time we are playing the Middle Age. It's a short reminder for those who aren't familiar with the game. You can set up a game to either run in the early age, which is like, think of the siege of Troy. Think of barbarians fighting it out in the forests of Germany thousands of years ago in the Bronze Age, that kind of shit. The Middle Ages are a little, basically, yeah, it's the high Middle Ages. You have castles, knights running around. Magic is still a thing, but a little bit weaker. And then you have the Late Age, where everyone uses creepy end-of-the-world bullshit magic like blood magic. Everyone has blood magic. You have invented the crossbow folks. Everyone has heavy armors. The knights are all depressed because everything is dying. It's the Renaissance, but with high-end magic depression. And we are in the Middle Age. Magic is a little bit weaker. Things are a little bit weirder, but it's still the magic times. And Xibalba is a nation of cave dwellers, but because the host of this game was a bit cheeky and put up only 2 caves, that is, yes, 2 cave provinces in total, the other player got set up in the cave and I got transported to the surface with my creepy frog people, because the Middle Age is frogs. The original Xibalban are still here. If you go in the recruitment screen, you can get some, like the Sots Bata, flying bastard who is stealthy, and cold-blooded, which means they get an enormous amount of trouble if the weather is too cold. But this also means they can live in swarms forever without getting diseases. A little bit of Dominion's mechanics for you. They are also shitty at patrolling because they are basically really chaotic people. Another being we can still recruit is the Kamazots, a strong death and blood mage with something extra. In this case, this tells us every time this commander is recruited, you get a 100% chance of getting another level in whatever is on the left side. So we could get either 2 death, 2 blood, or 2 death, 1 blood, and then either 1 of earth or air magic. So it's nice. Of course, everything else is giant sentient frogs here, like the Murkuhul, a fairly strong water mage who is also a priest and also has earth magic and death magic and gets yet another path out of 4. So he's fairly strong, and since he is... oh, he's equipped with the gift of water breathing. That's nice. We have to remember this, because this means he can drag 50 bad people into the oceans. And of course all frog people are amphibian, logically. And we have this super mage, the backup, who is also one of the lord rulers of those frog people, who are now in command of Xibalba. He comes with level 3 in water. And to give you a bit background, generally a mage is considered weak if he has a level 1 in one path, and strong if he has level 2. Level 3 is already very strong. Level 4 is about the maximum you can expect to recruit, even in the early age where magic is stronger. In the middle age, 3 is already exceptional. In the late age, you are lucky if you get a level 2 level 2 path mage. Plus some of the stronger mages in the late age still come with extra paths, so at least you have a chance of getting above level 2 in something. In this case, nope. Level 3 is already fairly high, and since this comes with multiple chances even, the backup has a 1 in 4 chance of immediately getting level 4, and if you're exceptionally lucky, you could even roll a second water path and immediately have water 5, which is insane for a unit you can just recruit. To be fair, he costs 635 gold, which is more than we actually get right now at the beginning of the game. And while resource costs with 4 leaders are often fairly low, he gets 4 command points. We have only 2. So this means if we even have the money, we would have to wait 2 turns to get one of them. But to be fair, they are fairly good, and their leadership is fairly high. They even get a high moral bonus, which means units are less prone to running away. And as a death mage, he can command undeads and demons, and he has command of magic beings that are special units that don't like being commanded by some mundane muggle or something. And we have all our other weird froggos, we're getting in more detail with that later. And this is our god, the Fountain, Minnesota. It's a big 2-headed worm, which is a mythical creature which comes with innate regeneration, which means 10%, yeah, that means per turn he will regenerate 19 hit points. So even if he gets hit, yeah, he can tank a lot of hits before he's in trouble. Protection 18 means that even if, okay, with different skill 8, a lot of hits will hit him. He's a big, slow target. But anything that hits him will have to first roll against protection to actually do some damage. So that's a lot of things he has on his plus side. He's also very high magic resistance, and his moral is basically unrootable as long as the entire army doesn't run away. Leadership is okay, since he is a pretender. I don't really plan on dragging him right into anything. Magical leadership is also fairly high, for he is a magical creature. More importantly, he is awake. That means we immediately have control of him from day 1, because I set him up this way. He has some bonus stuff like resistance against calls and poison. He causes fear because he's a huge fucking monster with 2 heads. And from the setup before game start, I gave him the ability to reinvigorate, which means, for example, he has encumbrance 2, which means if he does something in battle, he would normally slowly start accumulating 2 points of fatigue until he hits 100 and goes to sleep. And getting sleepy also gives you stat penalties the worse it gets. So you have to take a look at this and calculate in your head how long your commander or units will actually be combat capable before they're taking a nap, followed by a third nap when someone stabs them in the back. So Reinvigoration 2 is mostly a bless power I could give him because I gave him lots of earth, and because Dominion 6 is a bit more flexible in terms of what bless points I can give out. For example, my bless is mostly earth stuff because I could mostly ignore the water stuff I needed for future plans. This is mostly because water blesses gives things like more defense skill, which is far too low, so it wouldn't really bring something. As this guy has 2 heads, he is unsurroundable. It means you can't look behind him, and you need more than just 2 units to get a bonus for attacks surrounding him. Useful since he is awake and is supposed to, yes, help me expand immediately. Well, almost. Reinvigoration also means that as long as he is just normally attacking or something, he will never get tired. Instead, every normal fighting him will get tired. And of course, since this is part of his bless, as long as he's awake and there are priests around, if he's not in battle with his sacred units, the sacred units will get the same magic bullcrap too. It's also Affliction Resistance 4, which means this unit has a reduced chance of getting battle afflictions, because there are a lot of really dangerous permanent status effects units and commanders can get. He is an inept researcher and has a huge penalty to research, which, yeah, he's a big dragon worm thing. Apparently, him being 2109 years old doesn't mean shit if he can't write. More importantly, he has 2 poisonous attacks who give huge damage, and it gives death poison on hit, and it is a magical damage type. This all together means that if this guy hits something, with attack skill 15 it will happen fairly often, it's just fucking dead. Disclaimer, this of course doesn't work on things that are resistant to poison, so we have a fairly potent attack weapon, but we have to be careful since on turn 1 we can't really see what's going on around us. But this guy with the unpronounceable name is, yeah, he's an assassin, which is kind of funny. Xibalba gives you this angry toad that's also an assassin as your first scout. But he has also a very high amount of stealth. While he isn't a priest, so he can't bless himself, I mean, I could just tell him to be a prophet, and then he could self-bless, but that would be a waste. Scout priests are always funny. Let me script this right now. So scout priests are always funny because you can do a lot of bullshit with them. But of course, this is our first scout in it. And while I was testing my setup, I already ordered him to march into Darton to take a look, because Dominion 6 works on tiered layers of information. Maximum information is it's your province, and optimally the people in it believe in your own god. That's this funky line around here. The belief in our god, which is right now fairly low. You get 2 candles, that's just 2 more than nothing, and 1 province. And from now on the game will continue rolling to see if we can expand into empty provinces. And in total we have 5 chances right now. For our home province, 1. For our 1 temple, 1. And our god gives 3. We can even get another chance by declaring a prophet, which we don't want to right now because Bolon Yokte is our only available commander right now, and he doesn't actually command any sacred units, just those basic froggy dudes with swords and basic armors. And now head protection. Yeah, that is actually kind of a problem in this game for certain reasons. You kind of have to tough it out, because I wanted to play these weirdos here. So for normal commanders, I like to make sure they stay behind instead of running forward and getting killed. I also like to give commanders a little bit of protection in case bad things happen. This is just for the very beginning. I'm not even giving those weirdos anything else right now. I can stretch the lines out a little bit. Nope. Nope. Let's take it like this. Because those dudes are fairly small, size 3 is about human size. So there are actually several per block on the battlefield. So spreading out the numbers is good for really high quality units, because those will probably be outnumbered normally, and if you have them in a long line, they have a good chance of preventing themselves from getting flanked. But our little froggies here need all the help they can get. They have just about average attack, but slightly above average defense, slightly average protection, and average hit point. Everything else about them is average. Their moral is nice with 13, it's above average. And since they are cave dwellers, they can't see in the dark and get less penalties. They can also survive in swamps, being cold-blooded and all. So of course they don't have the cold-blood attack because Illwinter, the developer of this game, there's only 2 dudes, so they probably overlooked this. And they're amphibians, so they can fight underwater without trouble. For now I'm patting them off hold attack to give the enemy a bit of time to fuck up. And our weirdos will try to move in and fire their weapons. Their obsidian darts. Length 12. Yeah, that's not exactly what I call range. Sadly, Xibalba is one of the nations that absolutely have nothing in terms of long-range attack. Ammunition 4, so that means 4 turns of shooting, and if the enemy hasn't managed to move 12 fields across the battlefield, then it's combat time for them, and they're really bad at melee. The defense is less, the protection is less, and well, they have a little dinky dagger. Yeah. That I must probably do something else here. Let's do this instead. Oh, did I confuse the dart throwers? Nope. I just clicked on the wrong thing. So a bit to the back, but now they are attacking immediately. And now our Mr. Fountain here. He has absolutely no magic available, even nothing to buff himself, so all I can do is tell him to immediately attack. And rearmost enemies works astonishingly well, because he will try to get the enemy commander, but if there is lots and lots of enemy units, probably better to instead put him up here so he can spread fear among everyone getting too close to him. And of course, I forgot our scout should probably move to the behind zone here. And that's our basic setup. Next turn we'll get some basic information, because as soon as you border your province, the next turn you get the first layer of information. After that you get more information if there is a scout, even more if your belief system has crept in. And finally, if you take control, you have all the information. There's of course this black nonsense here, which is blocking off the rest of the map until we actually getting close to it and remove it. Another bonus we get from having an awake pretender. Every pretender in the turn after they break free or wake up or whatever get a sudden preternatural message, the suddenly getting aware of all the thrones that you have to conquer to take over the world. We have lots of thrones here, a lot of them. Yeah, that will probably take a while. Wait, how many points do we need? 13. 2 Oh, there's a level 3 turn. Ah, yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, that may be a short game, because we may be needing only about 2/3 of the drones. So there may be a situation where a player will have 2 or more drones but still loses the game because the game put the drones all together in a certain area of the game where a player then gets lucky. We had a game already like this because we are still in the early phases of Dominion 6 and playing mostly with completely randomly generated maps, and Winter's map generation is not exactly the best one, let's say it like this. Next thing, I've put some random spell levels up here, mostly to get something really basic. The ability to summon Yagyo Toads. Some basic magic trinkets to forge, so we aren't completely without magic items. Just really basic stuff. Then let's take a look at our capital. The fortification is 500, that's fairly low. Dominion 6 got an upgrade, so the lowest level in Dominion 5 would have been a wall integrity of 50. It was the Palisade. Now the Palisade is up to 250, and the next level fortification got upgraded from 250 to 500. So that's what we have, and I have the feeling we won't get more. I guess we should be glad that Dominion 6 also added automatically generated defenders like dart throwers and castle guards, because even if there's absolutely nothing left, your enemy will still have to fight those 90 dudes on his own. But to be fair, 60 dart throwers, I'm not even sure they can reach beyond the castle walls. That would be comedy. You should probably keep the enemy away from us. Then we have the flooded city, where all the frogs live, which allows us not only to get our super mage and our super sacred buff super frog, but we also get 2 water gems and 1 earth gems per turn, thanks to this site in our capital. Then we have the sacred cenote, some kind of secluded cave where we can get assassins, poison dart throwers, and poison frogs with armor and weapons, and they even give us an additional water gem per turn. So it's nice. We also have the Cave of Perpetual Darkness, where we can get our Bat Mage, the survivor of an earlier darker age, and we get even another gem, a Death gem. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gems. That's not bad. It's in fact fairly good, because gem income tends to go down as the ages progress, and we are basically an early age nation transplanted into the Middle Ages. The bad news is our frogs are also not exactly the best fighters. The Vo-Much, for example, is our sacred. It takes a lot of gold, resources and recruitment points. The last one, which is based on the population in the province. And well, encumbrance is fairly high, but gets reduced thanks to our sacred bonus. Every time a priest blesses them, the encumbrance will be effectively only 4 because of the extra reinvigoration, which basically makes this one into a normal human fighter in terms of encumbrance. Defense skill is not bad, attack skill will probably hit something eventually. Protection is it's okay, I guess. It could have been worse. They are beefy because they are bigger than humans. And that's it really. Magic resistance is just normal. Moral is fairly high, but at least they can't see in the dark, so we can invade caves. The 2 caves this game have. And they're amphibians, so they can bonk shit underwater with their obsidian blade, which does magic damage, and a large chunk of it. So they're actually fairly good, even if hard to mass. Then we have the Moor Jungle Warrior, which can be recruited in forests, which is kind of funny. Normally this would have been a cave province, but well, it's a weird game. Then we have frogs with poisonous skin, who are also sacred. They have roughly the same stats. Their moral is a bit lower, their magic resistance a little bit higher, protection a bit lower, a bit smaller, but have less hit points. And do less mana damage. Still magic, of course. So they're a nice alternative to our big frogs. They cost a little bit more. Yeah, there is not much difference between those two. Even the weapon length is similar. Then we have a third sacred because, wow, those are the Chagmook dart throwers. They send poison darts, but it's also a poison that can't actually kill. I think it's a paralyzing poison. It's armor negating and adds 25 damage, fatigue damage. Well, it makes enemies fairly sleepy, but since it doesn't kill them, it's also of limited help if you can't amass large numbers of them. And of course, again, the problem is, while they at least have a real weapon, they just turn from shitty long-range units to shitty infantry if they run out of ammunition. So I'm not really sure. Attack and defense skill are terrible. And the poison darts aren't getting far. I'll probably spare myself. We also have the normal dart throwers, which are also terrible, to be fair, but the normal dart throwers at least are incredibly cheap at least. Well, let's do a comparison. How many of those? Okay, we can recruit 3 of our poison frogs. Or 2 of our big buff frogs. How much is... We have 31 left if we do this. I have 20. It's not really a big difference, really. The only difference is that if we encounter something that's doing more damage than normal, you probably want to have the big frogs, not the small frogs. On the other hand, the paralyzing poison damage... You know what? You know what? Oh, poison skin. Okay, poison skin is interesting. 20 is a lot of poison, I guess. I guess if someone kills them with a melee hit, they're also getting poisoned. You know what? We should try this for a change. Last time I was concentrating on the big buff frogs, so let's take the smaller poison frogs for now. We also need something to keep the enemy away from our alliance, which is probably this guy here. Basic infantry with a spear. The spear is length 3, which means it can do some repel attacks, and it has shields, which means less damage by good or long-range weapons. Problem is, of course, as long as we aren't taking more territory, that's it. Can't even squeeze in a dart thrower. Can we squeeze in a mage, is the question I ask loudly. Well, yeah, we can. Do we have the money? Yes, because we can't recruit a shitload of units. So I'll take this one here. Is he good at leadership? Yeah, that's the question. Then there's the Aha, which is really only a tiny mage priest mix. The Aiz is even worse and has death instead of priest. Yeah, and no elf. And then we have the Mukhayaf, which is a priest leader with some better stats, and he can actually command armies. That is the guy we got for free in the beginning. And let's see if this guy, Molonyokte, will from next turn forward and march forward together with Fountain, Minnesota. Then he actually doesn't need to be a priest, that's the funny thing. Because... let's see, we will take multiple turns to recruit units anyway. So instead I can take someone else and make him the... But on the other hand, my profit will probably move a lot around. Yeah, that's probably for the best. 31 hit points and at least some protection. The mage has less hit points and less protection. And the other options are too expensive, respectively, or too weird. Too weird. A prophet who can't go underwater would be funny, but not now, right? Let's simply get, for the beginning, a new army leader, who I then will turn into a priest overlord, a prophet, so to speak. Can also preach a bit to give me a little extra push in this province. And that's it for our very first turn. Next turn, Fountain, Minnesota will go into action. Because then we'll have some info and can avoid pratfalling. Because even a big monster like my Awake Pretender isn't invulnerable. Yeah, everything is set up for some basic shit, and this is Libluini out. We are ending this turn now. I said we're ending this turn. Wait. Man is still here. Oh yeah, I just got confused because it's the first turn and it's blindingly fast now. The more advanced games take a while to get you back to actually ending the turn. But well, the player's played its turn, so it's uploaded and we all have to wait until the man Tower of Avalon gets into gear. Until then, Libluini out. Hello people, it's me, Libluini, and we are back again with another round of... oh, no. Sorry, had to sneeze. Of course, at the same moment as I started talking. So where was I? Yep, we are back in Dominion 6 land. This time we are Xibalba, a nation of normally bad people, but here in the Middle Ages of Dominions it's frog people instead. And it's late spring, the second term of Fountain, Minnesota, and its quest to conquer the world. The god of tremors, he who is at the center, patron of liars, prince of hope. We have found 12 thrones, yes. And then all the nations declare their prophet, except us. Rabbit girls of unusual size, with the prophet of unethically sourced anime girls. Ah, interesting choice for its photo. Amor, welcome to the Bone Zone, the censor. Yeah, he's the prophet of Julian, Ricky and Bubbles. She who embraces the embracer, lady of shipwrecks, fountain of all waters. Looks like one of those Trinity goddesses, or gods. Because we have some gods that are actually three people all in one. And of course, Amor in the Middle Ages is undead. There are the planet killers. We are here to endure them. Galeri is a little bit milder, but still tons of undead. Trinity name failure. The Centurion is prophet of Clackety, Don't Talk, Rackety, and Clickety. Patron of arbitrators, another Trinity. Then Pythium. Snakes and Greeks, the nation. Azuka Langley Constantine, the Centurion, is now the prophet of Neon Genesis Eastern Orthodoxion. Ah, interesting reference. Then we have Man, the nation of humans. They say you suck, the Castellan, is now the prophet of I speak for the trees. That's rough coming from Man. Agatha, the underground nation, in this case of Pale Ones and Golem Makers. This is fine, the cave captain. He's the prophet of grouchy old, hole dwellers. Yep. Then we have Ulm, another man nation of men, this time it's Germans. Cheech Marin, the commander of Ulm. He is now the prophet of perpetually stoned the foundation, the spear of fate, and so on. Then Pirene, they are little guys, and one of the newest additions. Goat. The Bekrides scout is now a prophet of Goat Hall of Fame. And that human sacrifice sounds like blood. Seems dangerous. But yep, did someone exactly do what I talked about in the first turn. That is, someone made a stealthy priest. And Abysia. Azazel the Warlord is now the prophet of Dr. Inferno. So Azazel sounds, funnily enough, like a name the Dominion's name generator would spit out for the flame people of Abysia. So I can't really tell if Dr. Inferno, I read that wrong the first time, is actually a custom name or not. And of course we have now the view of all those creepy thrones. And they seem to be underground, is this right? Huh. Nope, we also have thrones above ground. Now that's confusing. But at least we can now look underground into the cave layer. And that's... I think it was supposed to be 2 caves. There was a little bit confusion if it's 2 caves per player or just 2 caves in total. Seems the answer is 3. Dominions. Always in for a surprise. That's a lot of Jaguar slingers. Then we have militias and heavy infantry. That seems like a soft goal. And lots of income. 167. That's roughly the same combination. Just that now there are more militias than light infantries and heavy. And those don't have archers, so they're even softer target. Then we have a third medium defended province. In this case it's heavy infantry again and no archers. So Iskepne and the Datan are soft targets if we have the troops. And this is a fairly hard target since our soft frogs don't like archers too much. That's nice, and I guess we can ignore the Jaguar tribe warriors for now. As tribal warriors they are kind of soft targets themselves. But if you see something like Jaguar, that means there is magic shit involved here. And they have slingers. That means they are a bit more dangerous than pure numbers. Will tell you. So this scout of course should have gone towards the south since there are more plains and plains are high income. With how expensive our mages are, we want to get those income provinces. Now since all of our units can't cross the river, the question is, do we go for 142 gold or for 112 gold? Okariep is probably doable, but I want to see what our god will do. And oh boy, yeah, we didn't have a lot of shit that we could do. Let's give our creepy poison frog, who are also sacred, and guard the commander. Ah, yes. No, the good old. Well, just for the people who probably still don't know why my pretender is named Fountain, Minnesota. And now you, my friend, will become the prophet. We are still recruiting here, but we lack resources very badly. Let's take out one of those. I swear it should have been possible to recruit. Well, anyway, let's recruit a mage since we have money and not many resources right now. We should have though, we have 26. And sometimes Dominion's numbers make me go crazy. This is what we should get. Moog warriors and some more sacreds. And we still have money left over for a backup. And since this takes 2 turns, we can then switch to slightly cheaper mages for our backup. Research is still ongoing, but is now paused because our single mage attacks. Well, well, well. The rivers are everywhere. Except here, but that's... Yeah. 50 or 40, and... There's really not that much, but I'll attack the militias first. Let's take a look. Yep, we have some simple blocks of our dudes with the dart throwers in front, and then followed by our normal infantry stabbing people. I'll move our big dude a bit forward. Everything will roughly move at the same time. Combat speed of our pretender god is 10, and of our troops is also 10, so it should move in tandem. Yeah, that should work out. They are close enough together that we won't get a situation where either our troops get overwhelmed or our pretender gets isolated. So, and let's see. Yep, we can cross the river. And that's already the end of this turn. It's already only turn 2 after all. But, ooh-oh, we have the double turn, so we'll continue shortly. And... wait. And, yeah, okay, my mic still works. Good. Microphone, go. And we are back. Now we are at turn 3, sorry. And 2 stragglers have declared their prophets. Marino, the French Italo weirdos from Spain, fantasy land, and their incredible dangerous blood magic in this age. Wait, moment, we are in the Middle Ages. Marino has early age, that is more blood and fire. Middle age, which is more fire than blood, and the late age, which is blood, 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 and some fire. So we are still in the medium range, where Marignon could be dangerous in blood, but maybe not. And boy, is blood magic something in this game. But anyway, Marignon, free heir of Legum the Assassin, is now prophet of diluted humors. Sounds more like Nurgle if you ask me. And we, of course, Xibalba. Mr. Sinkhole de Mouch Aya is now the prophet of Fountain, Minnesota. And we had our first battle, and we lost 4 of our warriors, but we also killed a bunch of units. Good. Let's take a fast look. See how our basic strategy worked out. Yeah, our units are fairly slow. Let's speed this up. And here, our shitty troops hit each other. Then our big will flanks the enemy units and kills a bunch of them. And then the losses cause a rout and everything runs away. Yeah, most of them even get away. Let's be nice and thinking about how they run away and hide with their families instead of getting murdered and slaughtered. Which is what game mechanics demand. Now we have some extra money left over and can give them some basic defense, just enough that there is an active unrest reduction. Now our belief system has spread into more provinces. Lion tribe warriors are easier to defeat than Yangra tribe warriors, but there are also 90 of them roughly. Could be 70, could be more than 100. Income is high, so we want this province eventually. Then we have 40, again militias and heavy infantries and archers, and high income. But Xibalba needs more resources, and resources we only get from neighboring provinces. This means we are immediately crossing the river again into Esgepne to get this high income province. Yeah, we're not even slowing down here. So let's go to Oman. Oh, our frog is so slow. Usually the assassin frog will arrive a bit late to the party down there, I think. At least we get some basic information after we are bordering Orman and Delka here and the Packwoods. Because, yep, we have to get to Escapne so we can crash the party here. Because this is one of those games where mountains are not passable. No mountain passes in the lake. And instead, as you can see, the mountain line here going around completely blocks us until we are out of the mountains and the forests. So we have to be north of Xibalba or south of Xibalba. Xibalba itself is completely blocked off from the west. The good news is if an enemy comes from the west, they can of course not attack Xibalba either. Except for weird cases like magical teleportation and flying units, of course. Of course. I guess we are lucky that there is a bridge directly to the north, or this connection would be a river anyway. So, Mr. Sinkhole is now the only one here since our backup isn't here yet. But I can now add some throwers. They are fairly cheap. No, it won't do much good, but it's good to have at least something that can hit further than just the arm of all big frogs. And that's already for the future here. Mr. Sinkhole has his bodyguard, then a bunch of sheep units in front, better units for flanking, and a third units of long rangers, or really more skirmishers, considering they are fairly low on both range and ammunition. But at least our vague pretender proved he can win battles as long as he is properly supported. So the war of Fountain, Minnesota against the evils of the world will continue. And since we're still fairly early, I can already cut things off here. Research! Research is ongoing. That is, the plan is ongoing, but only next turn will we actually get a mage. You can preach to get more candles, please. To see, we now have 6 chances instead of 5. Because our prophet counts as an extra roll. So now the game will roll 6 times each turn. 3 times for our god, then for prophet, for our own province, for temple, and our pretender god is of course a god, so one of those chances will always have 100% success. And game mechanics time here. As long as there's no enemy dominion to combat, so as long as the people here are functionally atheists, I suppose, people would believe in nothing, we will automatically sleep into those empty provinces or empower our own provinces. So all those chances will either go into a province where there aren't many candles and make them believe stronger in us, or go into an empty province and make them join the club. So we want to spread our belief system as fast as possible, because as soon as black enemy candles show up, our progress will slow down, and depending what other players have made their pretender god to do, we could even face a reversal if we then don't start plopping down temples to keep our belief up. But it's future music. Right now, Fountain, Minnesota has barely claimed 2 provinces, and the belief in this strange god of the sinkholes has spread to only 5, 6, 7 provinces. Well, not exactly bad for a single province of spread, but still. We'll see how this is going in turn 4. And now, Libluini out.